Okay, so welcome back to our brand new class. So there's a couple of practice we're going to do in this class. So one would be we'll do some logging test. Okay, so example, the law, Salesforce. This is your application. Assume that this is our application. So this application will use just to do some logging test. So logging test is very common to each and any application. So we'll see that's how we can do very simple logging test. Over here, we're going to do some invalid. If you know the invalid, you know the valid. Invalid means you are going to provide some invalid username and password. Whether one of the the parameter is invalid, whether username and password or password invalid, or both invalid. So those are called negative test case. Negative test case, which is the different scenario that's cover some non-user acceptance request test cases. So this is a non-user acceptance. This is something you are going to find. You have to think outside of the box. So what would be the different combination of scenario that will cover different type of negative test cases. So one is could be invalid username, invalid password. What it's supposed to do if we enter the invalid username and password? What it's supposed to if you just enter invalid username but valid password? If you enter valid username but invalid password, what if even you don't put anything and click on login? If you click on login, what it's supposed to do? It's supposed to do something, right? So that time, is that a matching your expected result or not? So those are all invalid. So we'll just do one simple scenario. If you know one, you can do rest of them. So we'll enter some invalid username and password, and then we'll click on login. If you say, let's say that what happened, say you put some invalid username and then some invalid password, some random password. If you click on login, it's giving you one error message over here. So this is your one of the validation. So just to confirm that after you enter invalid username password, click on login, it's displaying expected the error message. Okay, so this is that your expected message. Your business the product owner, he will provide you that, okay, what type of error message is supposed to give you. So assume that this is the right error message. So how you gonna confirm that? So for this our test case will get the error message from here after we enter username password, and we'll ensure there is error message, and this is the error message, and we'll print the same. We'll get the text. Is error message nothing, just the text, right? We'll get the text from here and we'll print on our console. So this is I'm trying to keep it simple for now. Okay, just to understand the logic, so that then later on the different way you want to define this scenario, you can do it. So how we can do this? So let's open we have a login practice. We have another tutorial related with the login test, but with not the same application. This is the salesforce.com login. We have the recorded video we have. It's based on our application, which is our code and boss application. So the other one, it's as a backup, but let's do this one maybe all together. Okay, just see first. Okay, so how we can do it? So I'm doing a recording this lecture, since we don't have the similar type of the practice in our YouTube channel. So
thank you.
So first let's open our Eclipse. Let me put here so that I can type it. Okay, so our project was which was the project was okay, Selenium for page object Java practice. Let me see, it was probably not Java, Selenium Java. I believe this is the one. Yeah. So here let's create a brand new class. Okay, so on your source folder, or you can put on your right, create a class on your system is very on your the package. Okay, on your package level, that's fine. On your package or source, that's fine. So better to put on your package, because later on you may have a multiple package. So get it's good to have the practice, create the class underneath the right package. So now we have a one package, but when you have a multiple package, it's better to create the class with your package. So here we're going to create a class. Let's give a class name. I would say Salesforce login test. Your actual class that will have the all of your code related with the test. Is better to use a prefix name is test. Whatever the name you give, let's have a also good practice just to add the test, the postfix the word with your class name. Okay, whatever the class name you give, let's add the test, so it will be easy to understand. Okay, this is the class where we have the code related with this test. Okay, so for now we're using public void main. Okay, so this is our new code. Here the first things first, what do you need to do? We need to set up, right? We have to do the set up for our web driver. We have to tell, we have to pass the driver key as well as the root directory of the driver. Where is that driver, right? Remember, so to do this we have a class is called in Selenium system dot set property, right? System dot set property. You will find it over here. Make sure you select the right one. Set property, you can see it is looking for expected and inside the bracket string key and string value. So let's select the set property. Come on. After doing this, the Windows update system gets really slow. Set property. Then what's the key? For the key, and both are string, right? So you put the string, and then the key is for the Chrome. It will be Chrome driver, right? Chrome driver dot web dot driver. Web dot driver. If I'm not wrong. Web driver dot Chrome dot driver. Web driver dot Chrome dot driver, and your value would be the root directory of your C drive. So you have to know where is your what is your key for your Chrome driver exe file. So get the root directory path of your Chrome driver exe file, put it over here. If you copy, just remember, when you copy from your another test case, you can see there is a 2 backslash added, because for Java to follow the path it needs 2 backslash. So it doesn't understand that you're making a copy where it has already 2 backslash. So make sure you remove that 2 backslash. Okay, otherwise it will not follow the path. So this is the one. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So this part is done. So and after that we're going to set the relationship between our Chrome driver and web driver interface following polymorphism, right? So we'll say, so let's create an object of your Chrome driver, new Chrome driver, your Chrome driver class, Chrome Chrome driver, create an object of your Chrome driver, and after that you put in a variable which is called, we're giving a name driver, and then the return type would be web driver, right? Interface, because we're following polymorphism, where it's a relationship between parents and child following the inheritance, right? So your web driver, right? And then hover your mouse, import the package. So import the Chrome driver package, it's over here, and also hover your mouse over here, import the package for the web driver, right? So your relationship is done. And after that, some prerequisites. Some prerequisite is just like to maximize your window. If you want, you can put some the global weight, or you can remove some. Make sure you clean all of your cookies, because if you have a cookies, it means it's a store, your story, your browser story, and then next time you run it, it will follow, it will not do as a brand new test cases, right? So it's better to clear all of your story, which is the cookies, right? So you can see how we can do this. So driver, the first maximize your page. So we're saying driver, hey driver, manage. You can see manage method. Hey driver, manage what? Window. Here's a window, and then dot, what do you want to do? Window, maximize it. Just you type MA, you will find the maximize. So we were saying, hey driver, manage the window as per maximization. So you do the maximize or window, make sure. Similarly, you say driver dot again manage, and then you can say delete cookies. You can see underneath the manage there is a lots of other methods. You find the delete cookies, delete all cookies. So it will delete all of your cookie from your browser history, right? And then if you want, you can put some implicitly weight, right? And I mean, pretty much those are the prerequisite things. Let's move on. Our first things, we're going to say, we're going to enter some username. First we're going to load the page, right? To load the page, load the application. So we'll say driver dot get method, and inside the get method you have to pass the argument, which is your URL, right? Copy your URL and then pass this over here, right? That's your URL. It will load the page. How you can confirm that it's loaded the page? The simple things, like there's a lot of way you can confirm that you landed to the right page. Maybe you can get the confirm that there is a logo, it's called Salesforce, right? Or there is an image, it's called Salesforce or logo. You can compare with this. You can compare anything which is available on your on your home page, or simply you can get a title. You can get a title, you just can show that you got the right title. So if you get the right title, it means you landed to the right page. So title, every application they have a title. You can see if you hover your mouse at the top of your browser, you can say you title this for this application. The title is login Salesforce for this page, right? So you can get a title of a web page or from any application. Very simple. There is a method, driver dot get title. You can say get title is the method. It will just get the title, right? So this will get the title, and that title will hold in a driver, right? Driver will hold the driver. So what do you want to do? If you want to print it or to see on your console, you have to put this title. So this will get the title. Then it's up to you what you want to do with the title. If you want to see it, if you want to display it, you have to do the command. So we want to print it over here. Okay, you want to print it over here. You have to give the print command. So what's the print command? System.out.println, right? Sys out, then control space, it will give you the whole thing, system.out.println, and then put this one whole. So this part will give you the title, right? put this one inside over here. Remove one, duplicate, comma. So this part will give you the title, and this will print whatever inside this bracket. So you are printing the title from there inside. Okay, so you are printing the title. Load the page. So this will, you know, print the title. Okay, let's go next. Now our next thing would be spy our username, this field, right? This part, this field. So how to spy, how to locate that? So right click, inspect, and from here, this is the related HTML code. So you can see it has a tag name input, there's a class, but it's a long class, and class is the last option to use if you don't have any other property or key. Then you can think about to use class, because mostly class have a chance to have the duplicate value. Type email, not probably ID. If you see the ID, your first choice would be use the ID, because 99.99% ID is always the unique property, unique attribute. So let's use the ID. So copy the value ID. You can also check over here, if you use the value of this ID, what will happen, how many elements you can return. So you can use our ChromePath. So I hope that from you install already the ChromePath, so on your Chrome browser. So if you use the ChromePath, and over here for ID, right? ID, if you use, remember to create the CSS selector. If you want to make CSS selector using ID, simply for the ID, you have to use a hash number, hash sign, and then the value of your ID, and then hit enter. You will see it will tell you how many elements, like one element matching, and also it's reflect that the same element like username box. So this is a unique element. You can have it using this parameter, right? This property. So we can easily use ID. Okay, get back to our Eclipse, and then let's you'll say locate the username field, and enter the username, whatever the username. Okay, so this is what we're doing over here. Driver, we're saying driver dot, we're saying driver, hey driver, find the element. So find the element method, and find the element. What do you want to find the element? What is the element? So you will say by, let's use this time directly ID. Driver dot, try from the beginning, try to use all different type of, like we have 8 different type of locator. Try to mix up those things so that you have a best practice about all the use case or using all the different locators. So let's use ID, directly ID. Driver dot find the element by ID. So what's the value of the ID? It should be string. So this is the username. So this is the one we found from here, right? What do you want to do? So this part will find the element, and then next, what do you want to do over here? You want to enter something. You want to enter the username. To type, enter, it means you are going to type in a box. If you have an input box, this is called input box. If you have an input box, and you want to type something, you Selenium have a method. It's called sendKeys method. SendKeys method. SendKeys method will allow you to type something in a input box. So use sendKeys. Inside a sendKeys, you are putting in a string whatever the value you want, right? So example, just no name. I'm just putting random username, no name @test, whatever it is, because it's invalid. I'm putting some invalid. Okay, so this part is done. The next part would be you enter the similar things you do on your password. So let's do the same thing for the next one. This is a comment for the same next one. Okay, So locate the, this one would be password field. Password field, enter password. So let's, I'm saying invalid password. Invalid password. So let's over here enter invalid username. Okay, so next one, this. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's spy our password input here. This is the HTML code. What do we have? We have, let's see again, we have a ID over here, we have a name. You can use ID or name, not recommended class. Let's use again ID this time. Again we're going to use a ID, but what we can do, I can, you know, say let's verify it. You can make a XPath. So if you want to make a XPath or CSS selector, let's say you are want to make a XPath. What would be the syntax of your XPath? // you can whether put your asterisk sign or your tag name. So let's say I'm going to put the tag name. So your input, and then remember this is the syntax of creating XPath, right? You can easily find it if you right click, copy. You can see the copy XPath. It will see that it will give you some XPath, and or you can make a XPath. You can see there is XPath also, relative XPath. So or is the, you have to find out from over here, you know, we're going to make a relative XPath, right? If you say relative XPath, you will see this, it will give you XPath, right? So let's say we are going to make it. So if you want to make it, this is our syntax, @ then what's the attribute name? We're going to use, say, ID. So ID equals to, what's the value? Value would be password. So copy this. When you know get the, you know, the attribute, the value of the attribute, make sure, you know, you copy it a lot of times, because if it's a upper lowercase, you mix it, you know it's password, but you type it upper lowercase, it will not find it. So it's better to copy it, you know, single quotation, right? So that's your XPath, simple XPath for this, you know, HTML code for this element. So hit enter. Let's see that. So you can see it's matching one element, so it is a unique, and it's reflect this the same input box. So it means this attribute, this XPath is good. So let's get back to our Eclipse. So we're saying driver dot, similar thing, find element. By this time we're going to use XPath, right? XPath, and then inside the double quotation string you pass your XPath, right? And then what do you want to do? Same thing, you are going to use the send keys method to enter some password, which is an invalid password. Say 1 2 3 4 5 6, you know, just put some invalid password. Okay, so pretty much, you know, this is the one, is will enter the some invalid password. So what next? Next is you are going to click on login, this button. Let's spy this button. Let's spy it. Please ask me if you have any question, guys. This is the HTML code for the login button. So it has type is submit. Let's use this time name. Okay, name attribute. Okay, we use the ID already for both, but let's use log name. Okay, this is the value of the name. Let me get back to there. So this is, now we're going to click on login button. Click on login button, right? That's what we're going to do. So we're saying driver dot same, find element, by dot, we're going to use name. You can say name over here, and also it expect a string value. So this is our string, pass that value of the, you know, the name attribute, and then you want to, what do you want to do? You want to click. So let's use the call the click method. So simply, right, click on login button. So after that, you know, if we enter, you know, some invalid username and some invalid password, if we click on login, right, it's supposed to show you this message. Please check your username and password. If you still cannot log in, contact user. So this is the, assume that this is the right error message. So what do you want to need? What do you need? You need to say for now we're going to get the text, this error message, and will show or display in your console. How to get the text, this text? So you have to, again, same thing. This is also one web element. So it means you have to spy this. You have to look at that error message element, and then you use the get text method. Remember from our last class we learned get text, get attribute method, which is help you get the text from your any element. So we're going to use get text method. So but I'm hoping that you remember that what case where we can use get attribute, when we have to use get attribute, when you have to use get text, right? I hope that anyone can tell me the difference between get text and get attribute method, when you are going to use get text method and when you are going to use get attribute method. Anyone? No one? Okay. Where is that? So this is the HTML code related to this. So what we can do, you can say here is the one interesting part. So here is, you have, this is the HTML code, right? Okay, we have 1 minute remaining, so let's get back username and password. Then this error message is supposed to display in your application. So our task is we're going to extract this error message. We're going to get this text, this error message in our console, and will display up there. So one of our last class we had one exercise. We know that's how to get text from an element. We have seen that we can use get text method in Selenium. There's a get text method that can extract the text from your web element. But we have also seen there's another method. It's called get attribute. Remember, I hope that you remember, if you go to our CodeInbox site, and then you can find over there on automation articles, but you can also, I think, let's search, you can search over here too. Here, get text. Hopefully it will give me that article or the blog. Difference between get text and get attribute. I hope that I showed you the last times, like what is the difference, sure, right? Sorry. So one of the difference, I mean, I'm not going through all the things. So one of the key difference was, like, if you have a tag, say this is your HTML code, and here is, you have a tag, and then you have a text, right? And then there is a closing tag. So you're usually, most of the HTML div or tag they use, they have an opening tag and closing text, and between this you have HTML code including your text. If you have a tag opening and closing both, then you can use get text method. Get text method work when you have a opening and closing both tag. But if you don't have, sometimes it's happen. We have seen one of our application, right? One of our radio button practice, like over here. You have an input tag, right? You have an input tag, then you have your different attribute, and then also you have this is your text radio 1, but there is no closing tag. The closing would be, it's supposed to be like input closing, like closing input, because this is your opening, there is no closing tag. So if you don't have, if you don't have any closing tag for your HTML code, that time your get text method doesn't work. You have to use get attributes method, right? That was the difference, right? So you have to just remember, most of the things you will see 90%, or maybe I would say 95%, you will find in the you have a opening and closing tag. So mostly you can use get text, but some case, if you see that your get text method is not working, that time double check your HTML code and see this, whether you have your closing tag or not. If there is no closing tag, use the get attribute method instead of get text. Okay, so let's get back to here. So here we have it. This is our HTML code related for this error message, and here you can say it has a tag is div, and there is a div closing. So there's a closing text. So should be fine. We can use get text method, right? Let's use over here. If you use, say, assume that you want to use class. Okay, class. There's a class login. So it has a login error. Let's try to use class. See this what happened. So here our next tag should be get the text, get the text of error message and display on console. Okay, so to do this, we're going to say driver dot find element. We're saying driver find the element. What's the element? By, we're saying in this time class. Let's use class name. Okay, since we have a class, one of the class. And then what's the value of the class name? This is the value of the class name, right? I get it from here. And then so this will locate your element. Then what do you want? We want the action, right? We want to get the text. So let's get the text. We said we can use get text method this time, not get attribute, since it has a both opening and closing div, right, which is the tag name. So get text, right? So this whole thing will excuse me, this whole thing will get the text from this element, like this text. So what do you want to do? Our task is we want to display on console. So we want to show over here. So if you want to display, it means you want to print it, right? So if you want to print it, so the whole thing, this whole thing will get the text. Then this whole code you need to put in your printing command, like system.out.println. So inside this you can do this way, like system.out.println, and between the bracket you can put a whole this code. You can do it, but it's not that looks good because you put the bigger line, bigger code inside the bracket. So it's better make it simple. So what you can do, we can put this one, the whole thing, the get text, this whole thing in a variable. So we'll say let's give a variable name, say error text or error message. It's up to you. So what is the return type? So when you put a variable something, so some data you put in a variable, so you have to put the return type. What would be the return type? So what depends on what type of variable data is. This is returning a string, because this is a string, right? You saw this, when you use class name, you have to put this the string type of the value. So this is a string. It will get, so get text will always return a string. So your return type would be string, right? So now let's put sysout, which is system.out.println. Now put this one, this error, this variable inside over here. So this will get the text, and we'll put in a variable error text. So error text will have the knowledge actual the text, which is all those things. And so you are putting this text inside the system.out.println, your command, right? So that should be good. This should be good. Let's save it and then run it. Let's see what happened. Okay, finger crossed. Okay, so launching the page, looks good. Maximize the page, it looks good. Enter the username, password, right? And then click on login button. It was fast, and then it shows this, right? Let's get back to our console. So what we are expecting in our output, we're expecting in our output there will be title of the page, and also it's supposed to print whole error message like this one, right? Let's close this page and then see over here. So what happened? what happened here? We found in our console, if you see the console, right? Guys, you can see the console, right? In our console, it says login Salesforce, which is the title, right? Title of the page, you can see over here. If you hover your mouse, you can see login Salesforce, right? That's the title. So we found the title, which is this line, right? This line. And then we saw this, it was enter username, password, login, but we're looking for this, we're supposed to get the text of this error message, and it's supposed to print it in our console, right? But it didn't print anything here, nothing, right? So why it didn't print? Something had wrong, right? So what was the issue? So issue was because it means this line was right. We saw this was enter username, password. This line was fine, and it shows the error message. It means it click on login button too. So only the thing is it didn't find this. So the reason why, let's see what do we use. It means somehow maybe the locator was not right. It didn't able to locate this element. So what do we use? We use a class name as a login error. If you go here, let's use, so it was a class name, right? It was a class. So if you have a class name or class for any attribute, if you want to use this, we can create the attribute. So say, remember this, if you want to use Css Selector by using a class, any attribute, say if you want to create a Css Selector using a class attribute, we can just simply, we can follow, there's a two different syntax. We can say a // then there is no attribute. You don't have to put the attribute. No tag name. Then you don't have to put @ you just put the attribute name class equals to the value of the class. Or you can put, if you have a class, you can put $sign for a class, and if there is an ID, you can put hash. For class, you can put the $sign and then just the value of the your class attribute. If you hit enter, you can see it's saying 2 element match. It matched this one, and it also matched, there is another one. We don't know where it is, but it's somewhere else. So in this page, this login error, this class name is used twice for 2 different elements. So it's not unique one. That's why it didn't able to catch this element and get the text. See, that's why as I said, my last choice would be use the class or class name attribute. When you don't have other choice, that will be the last. Because mostly you will see the class there is a chance to use multiple times. You can see over here. So this is the way you can verify this is a 2 element matching. So other than, if I use, instead of class, I use ID. Let's use the ID. If you use ID, for CSS Selector hash, you can see 1 element matching, right? So, and also, so this is the only one is selected, and it's saying 1 element matching. So this is the unique one. So let's update our locator, okay, using ID. So here we're saying driver dot, this is the one, driver dot find element by, not by class name. Instead of class name, let's use something else. I'm going to say, let's use CSS Selector, because we use name, we use ID, we use XPath. Let's see how to create a CSS Selector. So by dot, let's use CSS Selector. You can say CSS Selector, and inside also it's expecting string. Okay, you can use this one, CSS Selector, and inside that you can either put the string value, right, the whole like this, right? Your CSS Selector would be similar to your XPath, right? So you can put like this, or you can directly put, if you use the class, then you can directly put dot class name. Okay, so let's put this one in a double quotation and then dot. So what's the class name? I'm sorry, ID. Let's put the ID. So we're going to use ID. So for ID is a hash, and then this is the value of the ID. Guys, I hope that you remember that. for CSS, if you go back to our node, you will see this. For CSS selector, there is a two way you can create, right? You can create your CSS selector // whether you put this your tag name or not, but there will be no attribute, then there will be no @ so without @ id, then it's value. Or you can, if you use id or class, only this for this two attribute, id or class. If you use id or class directly, you can use this way. If you use the id, then hash the value of id. If you use class, then dot the value of the class name. Okay, so this is the CSS selector. That should be good, right? And then it should work. Now it should work. Let's see. Save it, then let's run again. Finger crossed. Let's see. Okay, let's minimize it. Here we go. Now you can see this is the title, right? This is the title, and now you can see it's found it, and this is the error message. Please check your where is it? Okay, your access to salesforce.com has been disabled by your system. Oh, sorry. This is the thing is please check your, this is the things happen because we tried so many invalid username password. That's why it's giving me this error, but it's supposed to get this one. Okay, because we already tried more than 3 times. Okay, but
so a quick question. So it's pretty interesting scenario here. So it's showing something. Is it showing the same message in your?
No. I mean, this is because this is our practice one. But when you run it, it should show you that one. Okay, let me run once again. So let me run that one, and so that we can see this message on the real testing application. Not because this is the one we tried one time. It didn't try 3 times. So this is the one we already tried few times, so it's already, so let me run it. Okay, let me run it. Let me add something over here for the title. So driver, so let's add over here so that we can understand this is the title. So it's in a string, you'll say the title of the page, say something like that, title of the page. Okay, say clone. Okay, plus sign, and then so this will tell you title of the page, then your title, and maybe yes, I can put some empty string so that we have a space. So a little bit, so we have a space. Sorry. Okay, empty string. So it will print the title of the page. There will be space, then the title. It should be good. Save it. Run it again. Now you can see, you see here, this is our actual testing application. Your access to salesforce.com has been disabled by your system administration because the same locator is giving you different error messages. So we locate that element, and we're extracting the text, whatever text is showing. So that's what we're getting, because we already tried more than 3 times, because that's as per their application. So this is the right, you can see.
Yeah,
and here is the title of the page. So now your title of the page, then there's a space, a little bit of space, then this is the title, right? This is the title, and then this is your the error message. Okay, so pretty much it's interesting. Yeah, pretty much that's the all. The lastly you can do, you don't want to keep open your browser, right? So say you have 100 test cases, and so you have 100 test class, and you run one by one, and all of your your browser is open at the end, That's not a good. It's a bad practice because it will slow down your speed. It will kill your machine, in fact. So as soon as you're done, you better to close your window. So how to close your window? To close your window, there's a method. Closing the browser. The browser, it's very simple. Driver.
Driver.quit.
Yeah, there is a two method. One is called driver.quit. There is another one is called driver.close. Okay, and there is a little bit difference. Let me tell you. So driver.class close or driver.quit. Both does the similar job. You know, for in this single application, you'll not see any difference. The difference between close and quit, both will close your window, but there is a very significant difference. Close will only close your current page, only like this page. If you have a multiple page open, so sometimes it could happen like you are landed on one page and click on a button, it's open another child window, you know, and you are doing up there something, and you know, so you still need to keep open. You need to keep open your parent window, because when you do something on your child window and at the end of your test is done, you get back to your parent window and maybe something else you do. There's some other button you click. So you need to keep open your parent window. And so it's a good thing, you know, you need to close your child window, which is your current window. So close will only close the page you are right now. Okay, if you are on your child window, it will only close your you know, live window or current window. But quit will close all the window, your parent window, child window, everything. So sometimes, say, you know, after you log in, say go here, right? After you land over here, your home page, right? You click on probably Agile and manual test, right? Or maybe I don't know, we have, or maybe, yes, maybe you go to LinkedIn over here, so there will be open another page. So maybe you click on LinkedIn link. Okay, so it goes to the up there. This, you can see there's a separate window open, right? And you need to do something. You have to confirm it's open a new window, and maybe you do something on this page. Okay, and after that, your test is for this page is done. So what do you need to do? You get back to your parent window over here, and then you do the rest of the test in this page. So that time, if you use close, you know, after this test in this page, everything is done. When it's done, you use close. That time it will only close this child window, not all the window. So you are back to your parent window and use the close window, so it will close all of your current window. Then you do over here. But if you use quit, it will close all the window, your browser. It will shut down your browser. So if you have other remaining test cases belongs to your parent window, it will not able to execute because your page is all the pages are closed. Make sense, guys? Right? Everyone?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Yeah.
But then, Shri, when I was testing, even yesterday also, I faced something like I was trying the try catch method, and that was finally right. So I was trying to close the window using the driver.close, but then it closed. But then it threw kind of, I forgot the error name, like kind of message, like null pointer, or not the null pointer, some kind of, I don't recall exactly. But when I used the quit one, it was everything was okay.
I have to see this. Yes, a null point exception. Probably you found that the error message was called the null point exception. Null point exception, it's some kind of error message. It's like your driver is not able to recognize your driver is not is failed to take the initiate. So it could be if you something like you do something mistake over here, say your browser over here, like the path of your XPath, your Chrome driver, it will tell you null point exception, because you are saying to launch this in this path you have a driver, but your driver is not able to invoke. So if you close all the shutdown your all of the pages, and but you have a more line to do something on your one of the page, it will most probably it will tell you the null point exception. That's
yeah, I found it. Sharif is saying like no such session exception.
Yeah, because it cannot further create any more session. You see, you close all the window. That's something like that. So it's not able to create any session. So there is no more session because you shut down all of your window. So whether for the similar type, it will, if you error your root directory path, it will tell you something, either null point exception or it cannot create any more session. It will similar type if you have different driver versus your what's called your Chrome browser. It will tell you something. So it has a driver, but this driver is unable to create any new session because there is a compatible issue between your driver and browser. Okay, try with this. This two. You can try it. It's right now in this application we're just working with one page, so there will be no difference. But if you have a moving forward and later on when we're going to work on multiple pages, then you can see the difference using a difference between driver.close and driver.quit. Okay, so for now we're just using driver.close. Everyone, make sense? Clear? Okay. So this is a JavaScript. This is the application we can either use this application to do the JavaScript practice, JavaScript alert. So alert is nothing. It's a JavaScript event. So I think one more thing you need to know a little bit about the basic of web application. So web application, like front end application, what we can see user end user application. So end user application, the application you see in your browser. Okay, end user application, it has a 3 different languages mostly people they use, which is HTML. We saw this HTML. It's nothing, it's a skeleton of your browser. So it's just show all of your web element, different element, like you need an input box, you need a button, you need a form, you need a separate div. Those are all are created by HTML. And there is another one, is called Css Selector. CSS, it's bring the different, what would be your font size, what would be your font type, the different color, your background color, your text color. It makes colorful your pages. And there is on the top, there is another language, is called JavaScript. So JavaScript bring the dynamic behavior to your web element. Okay, so your web element, by the HTML you build the element which is static. It can, whatever you say, it will do exactly that one. It cannot do something else. It cannot bring a dynamic nature. Dynamic nature, it means maybe you have, say, hello world text over here. If you hover your mouse, it will show you different text. This is a dynamic behavior. Let me show in our over here. So example, hover mouse. So if you hover your mouse, it shows the two drop down box, two drop down option top. So this is a dynamic behavior on this mouse hover button. It only only trigger when you do something. So so these things, it's possible by the JavaScript. Similarly, you can see some of what is that, the alert. So this is like there is an input box in a HTML. We use the input box to create this input box, and there is a 2 different button, right? In this button we added some dynamic behavior. What's the dynamic behavior? If you click on alert button, you can see it open a pop-up window. This pop-up window brings the dynamic behavior. This pop-up box is the dynamic behavior for this alert box. So how this pop-up box is created? It's created by the JavaScript. So JavaScript is such a powerful language. It's a front-end language. Nowadays it can use also even a back-end, but mostly it's a front-end. That's a whole different conversation. It's bring the dynamic behavior of your HTML web element. Okay, so pop-up window or alert window, it's one of the dynamic behavior which is called JavaScript pop-up window. So in this type of behavior, when you have in your application, your driver directly cannot do anything. So what do you need? So you have to confirm that after you click on alert or confirm button, it's open a pop-up box. This would be the your test cases for this kind of scenario. And then you get the text. Make sure inside the box, whatever the text, like hello, share this practice page who love to learn automation. Maybe you get this text and ensure that it has the right text, and then you make sure that it's your OK button also work. So if you click on OK button, it's supposed to disappear, right? That would be your test case scenario for this testing alert button or JavaScript alert function. So the limitation of WebDriver have some limitation. What is the limitation? That WebDriver have the power to work anything, software anything between your HTML code. Okay, your HTML code, it means your self-skeleton of your web pages. It means it's all belongs to different web element, or whatever you have element. But when you click on alert button, it's open a pop-up box. This is a separate JavaScript function. So your driver doesn't have by default power or ability to jump to on this window. Anything happen from your parent window to child window or child, the pop-up box, your driver cannot understand that there is a box is open, which is a individual separate option or separate box. It cannot understand. You can't, if you just try to this way, after you click and then you try right click, you can see you can't spy this even element inside this box. So if you can't spy this element, how are you gonna get the text inside this? Because your Selenium driver doesn't have that capacity, but it has separate different method to do it. So it means every time you do something on a child window, pop-up window, this is a separate window. So first things you have to tell your driver. You have to tell the driver first things. After you click in this button, clicking a button, it's the same. Find the element up there and use the click action, right? It will click. And then if you want to do something on this your child window or pop-up window, you have to tell your driver, hey driver, switch or jump. Jump, just to remember, this is the best way to say, switch from this window to this small window, switch to child window, or switch to pop-up window, or switch to alert window. Then it will understand, okay, after you click in there, you're asking your driver to find a alert window and switch up there. So usually you will have always at a time, one time one window, the alert window. So it will automatically find. It has a method that it can, if you use that method, it will automatically find the alert window, and it will be stay inside the alert window. Then whatever you want to say, if you want to get the text, you can get the text. If you wanna click on the button, it has a inbuilt different method also to click on the OK button or accept button or disagree button, that goes with the switch method. Okay, that time you don't have to, because we can't again we can't spy this OK button. So how are we going to click on OK button? There's a method is called accept. It will automatically accept method. It's only applicable to a pop-up window, JavaScript pop-up alert. So accept, it means it will find either OK or accept. It will click automatically up there. There is a there is a cancel or if you have a disagree, there is another method for doing click, find the disagree or cancel, like it can find click on there. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. Okay, so you may use up here this one, or you can do up there. It's up to you. Okay, so let's I'm going to do here, because our recorded video is based on there here, and you can do the practice in our practice page later on. Make sense, guys? Okay, let's me, or maybe, you know, what do you want? You want to do the, because we have the video already tutorial based on this page. You want to the same one, or you want to do the new one? We don't have any recorded video for this exercise page.
Do a new one.
New one. Okay. Okay.
In
let's.
that case, you know, like we'll learn a different scenario. Maybe there will be different problem.
Okay.
And
so
in that case, you can keep it as an example. Like
okay.
you are going to give this lecture, right?
Yeah. So let's.
There will be a new edition.
Yeah. Let me. So let's give you the new URL for this exercise, so that we can have a brand new session, the recording session. Okay. So let me. So create a new class, give a name alertist. Okay, same project. Finish. Here, let me I'm going to copy paste. Okay, so that I don't have to. Now those are our prerequisite. System to set property, maximize the window, delete all cookies. So I don't just waste time for this. Copy, just make sure it doesn't add another extra slash, so it looks good. And then, so first things we're going to, so what happened here, where is our alert? So here, if we click on alert, it has a default message. Okay, so you can just do this one, or sometimes you can say, say hey, then you can type in the box, then click on alerts. So let's see what happened. You can say hello. There was not a hey before, right? It was not a hey before. It added the word you type here inside the box in your pop-up window. So let's say you can say hello world, and then click on alert. So you can say hello world, then you can say it's adding this one, then this. So there's a two different. So you can add the message. Let's see, we can add the message and then click on alert and then get the whole text and print it, right? So let's do this one. So first we're going to, so to type something in this box, we have to spy this locator. So let's inspect it. So this is the HTML code. So we have ID. You can see easily we can use ID. Since it's ID is the first choice, right? So just to make sure you check one more time, over here, since it's ID hash, paste it there. You can say it's one element, so you can use this ID. Or let me show you now to get this copy path. Let's see what it shows. So when you get an XPath from the crow path or from this right-click XPath, it's better to open in a notepad and see this. Is that it makes sense? Paste it up there and see this. Is that it makes sense or not? Right. So let me open just to verify that so it makes sense. Because now the syntax, how it looks like, your CSS selector or your XPath. Notepad is not opening. Come on, Notepad. What happened to Notepad? Okay. Looks like this is an upgrade. Okay, so maybe you can put over here your XPath. Looks like good. They use XPath. Okay, so looks like the XPath is right. So if you just copy it, paste again here, you'll see also it should show you one element, right? You can see one element. So this is the one. It's also highlighted. So this is the unique element. So you can use, get the your locator whatever way, but learn first how to do it, so that when you use any tools, you can understand, okay, this is giving you right address, it's giving you the right locator or not, it's giving you unique or not. So that's why I said at the beginning, have the behavior or practice, do by your own. Okay, so let's me go to our code. So we're saying driver dot find why is not find, oh sorry, it's a comment, that's why. I'm sorry. So let's we'll say type world inside that into the input box or into the alert box, right? So we'll say driver dot find element, say whatever what do you want to use, by dot xpath. Okay, let's use the xpath. Where is the xpath? Let's type x, then you will find xpath, and then you paste your xpath. Here is you guys just remember that when you copy and paste your xpath or any path, it can add some extra. You can say it added the / extra, and it added double quotation instead of single quotation, right? So you have to make sure you update, you correct this, otherwise it will fail, right? Okay, now looks good. Input ID value, okay, yeah. So driver.find element by xpath this, and then what do you want? You want to type something, right? Which is a sendKeys method. Use case of sendKeys method to type something. You want to say world inside, right, as a string. So this will type over here, and after that you click on the alert button, right? So to click on the alert button, click on alert button. So what would be driver dot find element. So we'll see what we can use. So for the alert button, spy it again, and here input you can see ID, the value alert, on click, this is an action to this type. What we can do, you can see what's over here. We have an ID. Say assume that you don't have ID. Since you have ID, so will be unique, we can easily use ID. So let's learn something, how to traverse. Assume that you don't have ID, then what else you have? You have a class. Okay, you have a class, maybe class not unique. Let's say that if you have a class, so I use dot, let's see it. You see, if you use a class, it's giving you 6 element matching. You can see this one, all this they use class, same class value. So this will not find this alert uniquely. It will find 6 different, so it will not work. Okay, so class is a suitable to use it. In this case, well, this is not attribute even. On click is a function. On click function is a display. You can see this is a method. On click function apply on this button. So this is not going to work. So let's see how we can traverse. Let's see how we can traverse over here. In this case, this is your sibling. This input, this input, this is the all three, are the sibling. Even this one is a sibling. All those are sibling, element. And this is the immediate arrow. This is the immediate arrow of this 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4 for this 4th child. This is the immediate arrow, because this is your parent. So this field set is the parent of this 4 child. Okay, and they are the sibling. There's input 1, input 2, input 3. Those are the sibling. So what can we do? And it has also class. Okay, it has also class. So maybe we can use, let's see that if we use dot class, it is a 1. So this class is unique, and this class is unique. You can say it's selected the whole area, including this button, this box. But we have to, so if we can, so this is the parent of this all this child. So we can start our traverse, we can start our journey from read the element from the parent, from this, from here, and then we can jump to this specific element. So this will, it's called traverse from parent to child. So if you want to traverse from parent to child, that time there is a different way to do. One simple way, you can have the unique XPath. If you have a parents have a unique XPath, you can follow the XPath format. That time you will have a XPath of your parent, then / one single /. Then if you have a multiple child or sibling with the same tag name, you can just put the tag name inside the tag name. You can pass the the position of the tag name. So this will be something. Let me see that how this will be. So let's see for here, if we want to create it. If you want to create it, right? So this will be something like that. You can see here, probably this is the relative first sibling following. So this is one of the, okay, this is another way to traverse sibling to sibling. Okay, let's see if you have over here the syntax. Child name, common class, space, Css Selector. Okay, so what would be happen? The syntax would be XPath of your parent, okay, and then / then tag name of your child or sibling. If you have a multiple sibling or child with the same tag name, that time you can use it. Tag name of the child, and then you can, since you have a same name of 3 different child, so this is the one, it's a number 1, and this is the one number 2. Okay, so that time you can pass the position of your child name. So you don't have to that time use any other attribute like ID, class. You don't have to nothing. You can use just the tag name. So what is the position of this? We need this one. So we can pass this. This is the number 2. Okay, this is the number 2. So this is the way you can pass the position.
A quick question, like, so is this the number 2 or it should be 1 because starting from 0?
This probably I started with the 0. Yes, you're right. I guess this is the you're right. This is the way. So we'll see. Let's use consider this is the 0, this is the 1. So we'll put the 1. If it's not, then we have to change it started 1 to 0. I forgot that part. Like it started from the 0 index following the index number, or it started from the 1 to, I think it started from the 0. Yeah. So let's see if we want to make it. So what would be our XPath? So / our parent XPath for using a class. Let's copy it. We can verify right away. / what's our input name? So it is using the tag name. It's optional, but still it's up to you. / then @ you can see we're following creating XPath. Tag name, this is the tag name. @ attribute. What's our attribute name? Our attribute name is class. Let's put the over here. We can type class equals to single quotation. So let's pass the value of the class, right? And then what we're doing, so this part is done. XPath of the parent, so this part is done, right? And after that there's a / the tag name of your child. What's the tag name of your child? It's input, right? Then pass the position. Let's pass the position 1. Okay, let's see what is happened. So here we go. It's found one element it's found one element. No, it looks like it's found this one, the first one. You said they highlighted this one, so let's pass that position 2. So yeah, you see, so it is started from 1, okay, not from 0. So you can see now it's an alert button. It's only selecting the alert. Guys, are you following? Right? So this is the our it's called traverse from parent to child. When you don't have any unique attribute, that time, still you need to select that element. It will happen very frequently. You will see this, it will happen. So it's good to know how to do is that time following XPath, you can do it. If you have a sibling with the same tag name, that time you can pass the tag name. If you don't have if it's a unique tag name, say legend, right? This is the unique, this you don't have, that time you just pass the / tag name. You don't have to pass any position because there is no other sibling similar name, right? So let's copy, this is the right one, so you can verify it before you place it. And let's get back to our, so over here we're saying by dot, we're going to use XPath. We have a unique ID. We could, again guys, we could use that one, but I'm trying to mix up all different locator so that we have a best practice, so we know the all kind of situation we can handle it. Traversing from different parents to a child, or even grandparent. You can even try traverse from before this parents to other parent. You can do it, right, following the similar type of fashion. So here, right, this is the one. So what are you going to do? So we select this alert button, then we have to click up there, click method. If you just type one letter, you will see this related method will show. You're just going to select that one. Okay, so after that, this part is done. So after you click it, what happened after you click it? So it's supposed to, let me type it here again. So we added this world, then click on alert, and then it shows this method, right? So now we have to move our driver, we have to tell our driver to move from here to in this pop-up window. To do this, since this is not regular behavior, this JavaScript alert is not a part of HTML element, it is a separate function that comes from the JavaScript. So to move, to do anything on this JavaScript alert, Selenium has a different method. It's called switch method. Okay, so how you can use this? So we're going to say here, what would be our tags here? Switch to alert box. Okay, so to do this, we're going to say driver here, driver dot switch. I think driver dot switch. Yes, driver dot switch. We're saying hey driver, switch to where alert. There's alert, ALE alert method. So if you use this things, it will automatically find, your driver will understand that you are saying hey driver, switch to alert. There is an alert box, is pop-up box open, switch to up there. And then after you go there, what do you want to do? You want to get the text from there, right? So let's get the text. Use the get text method again, simply. Okay, get text method. So get text method will get the text from where? From the alert. After your driver switch to the alert box. Okay, simply. So if you want to print it on over here again, let's put this one in a variable, so that you pass the variable inside your printing statement, right? So let's say you say alert message. So this is your variable. So this text will hold in this variable, and what would be the type? Return type. Since it will get the text, so it means it is a string type, right? Your return type is string. And after that, what do you want to do? You want to print that whatever the you extract this alert message you found underneath this variable, you can print this. So let's put this variable, pass this variable inside the printing statement, right? Similarly, sysout and then pass the variable inside there, right? So that should pass up there. And then if you want to, after that you want to click, you make sure your OK button is working. So to click on OK button or accept, if there is a accept, whatever it is, like yes, OK, accept, there is a method in for specifically for alert in Selenium, it's called accept. You'll say driver dot switch to, I think driver dot switch to alert dot accept. Let me see, that's the, yeah, driver dot switch to alert to accept. Where's my code? Driver dot switch, again you use the switch, where is the, okay, driver dot switch to alert, from alert. So what you want to do, you want to click on OK button, which is accept. You can see after the alert it shows all different methods. One is accept, another one is dismiss. Dismiss is used for if you have a cancel button, if you have a not accept or no button. So no, cancel, all this works with that dismiss method. Accept, yes, OK works with that accept method. Okay, so that's all. Right, just save it and then run it. Let's see. Okay, it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. So just open the browser. It didn't do anything. So let me just tell me that, yes. So that was the mistake. If you read your message, you can see over here it's saying exception in the thread main. So it means in our main method there's an exception. It means error happened. What happened? You can say no such element, unable to locate. Those are the method. Before that, every time it's open, first it's create a session, right? But here it's saying this element, because it didn't even find the such element except it didn't even find this element because there is no URL in our page, right? It didn't. So here is it for document error, this please visit, this is, I mean, there's a lot of documentation they have that you can read it to get that clue, but easily you can find that since this element didn't find because it didn't even know that's what's URL you have to visit, right? So because we didn't pass that URL to load your page, what application. So it's a driver dot, what's the method name? Anyone to load the page? Get, yes, get method, and then inside the get method it expect a string. So pass your application. Where is the application? Pass your application and paste the URL, right? And then again you can do the similar practice to make sure that you'll land it to the right page, so you can get the your title of the page that we will learn our the last exercise. It's up to you, right? So that's that. Now this should work. Let's run it. Here we go. Okay, you see it typed world, then there's a pop-up window open. There was a pop-up, it was quick, but it's open, and then it's, since we have a code to click on OK, so it clicked on OK, so that's why it's disappeared. Okay, but it's work because if you go to our code, you can see it's giving you same, this is the text from the your inside the pop-up window. Hello world, share this practice to the, okay, blah blah blah, right? And so that's the way you can handle your alert or JavaScript alert pop-up window through Selenium.
Sharif, so I'm getting something interesting. Like just the next line, if you write driver.quit.
Okay.
Yeah, after the accept, yes, driver.quit.
Driver.quit.
Yeah.
And
see what message you get.
let me run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's closed the window, you see? Did you see this? It closed the window and there's nothing else. So your actual testing application that was open, that application got closed because we used driver.quit.
So I'm getting something like that, a no alert present exception.
No alert present exception. Can I see your screen? That shouldn't something weird. Let me give you the access. Share.
Okay, so this time, why is it coming 2 times? Hello, hello world.
Because because open the application.
Okay, I got it. Because I think that embedded message has something like
hello. Yeah, there's the actual message inside the box. The default message is hello.
Yes, it starts with hello. Yeah, I see this.
So you added another hello, so that's why it's a hello world.
So hello.
Sarif, please describe it so we can also follow.
What about it? What?
Why it is coming 2 times?
Because he has. Okay, can you open the Bashish once again?
Yeah.
This. Okay, you can see the default message for this alert. It's hello. Share this practice page. Right. So this is the message, the default message. So he wrote inside the box, which is tied with this alert button, like inside the input box, like enter your name, this input box. He typed another hello world. He said hello world. So that text method, it's added with the default text method. So it has already one hello. So he typed hello world. So that's why I said hello world, then rest of the message. So whether you can don't type anything or you just type, that's why in my the one I did, I just typed world because I know there is a hello already, so I don't have to type the hello. Okay, so
okay, Sharif, why the thread one introduced that error? Like
what error? I don't see any error.
So I commented out the thread.sleep line, right?
Yes. Well, the thread.sleep, I'm not sure that you remember or not. The thread.sleep is a JavaScript, a local weight. So it is not an inbuilt from Selenium. It's part of the from the Java. Okay. So what it does, thread.sleep, it's a hold your script, script. So it means, you are stuck, your script is not able to execute or go to the next line.
Right.
Okay, you're holding all the script for whatever the time period you are saying. And then by the time your driver will not wait, you're holding the script, but your driver will move to the next place. You are not asking to driver to hold, you are asking to hold your script. So your driver will move, will go, will to the next line, and it will not find this the execution or any meaningful code for this line, because you're holding the script. Your script is not executable, but your driver looking for some accept or OK button. So there will be miscommunication if you don't have a really this will be thread.sleep will work better if you have really delay on your application. Say it's really taking time to load this window, this this alert button. Then it will work. Okay, you're holding this script. Also, it's taking time to load the element. So your driver also goes there, and it's not loading. It's loading. So it will still wait. Driver always, it will not throw your error message inbuilt in. It has the behavior that it's wait few times by its own self. It's retry. You will see sometimes it shows on your output, on your console, it's retrying. It means your driver itself is retrying if the element is not actually visible. But if you're holding this script, the element it's like a visible, but since you're holding this script, it's a holding thread.sleep is holding whole script, so it's not executable. It means the next line is not executable, and your driver is already moved to the next line, so it will not find that element even the element is visible. So then it will throw an exception. Okay, hey, I didn't find that because this the reason is like this line is not even executable because you're holding the all script. So that's why when you use thread.sleep, it's not always good practice to use always thread.sleep. We'll learn soon using use case of the different type of the inbuilt Selenium wait, which is implicitly wait, explicitly wait. Still, you can use this thread.sleep. I use frequently, but I know the disadvantages. This is the one, and also like the wait that comes from the inbuilt from the Selenium. This is much smarter than using thread.sleep, because in Selenium, what it does, it doesn't hold your script, it holds your driver. Since the driver is the guy, he is the main guy who's looking for your stuff, and so if you ask him to wait, he will not throw any error until its waiting period is end. Okay. So that time, and also benefit to use the Selenium wait is like if even element it comes before you say you say wait 5 seconds for this element, then you throw exception, throw error. But even this element comes before 5 seconds, say within 3 seconds, your driver will move on your next line after it's as soon as the element is appear before even 5 seconds. So it will not waste your scripting time. So that sense, the inbuilt Selenium wait, like implicitly, explicitly wait, is better to use than thread.sleep.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sharif, like just the continuation of the thing, like the thread thing or whatever the wait things. Is there any implicit or any kind of a method there, so that we can call that one and automatically the driver will wait depending on it could be depending on the network connection or some other reasons, say the same web page loads.
Yeah, you can. Well, what's that? Not. I mean, for Selenium, as I said, it has its own behavior nature that it's try few times. Even though if you don't put any wait, any local wait or global wait, it will try a couple of times, and it will. You will see this if there is an element takes a long time, a little bit to load it. You will see on your console it's saying it's driver is retrying. Driver is retrying. It means driver is by nature it's try few times until before it's throw any error. But on the top, if you want to use any wait, we'll see for now we're going to use local Selenium or thread.sleep. But in real life, when you're going to use the framework, that time we'll have one utility class, one separate class where we can write some method like reusable method. Say in terms of a wait, you can create one common method and you can put some time for say maybe 3 seconds wait, and whenever you need a wait, you just call that method instead of writing every time the code related to the wait. So that will be the part of the utilities class where we put all the reusable method, and wherever we need to apply any one of the method, we'll just call that method and put it on there. So it could be the wait, it could be the taking the screenshot for failure method, it could be anything. So that way we can apply some reusable method.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Fine, thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
So
Stopping the share.
yes, please. So pretty much, I think for today that will be our stuff for today. I'm going to give you some homework. Please do it. If you don't practice it, it will be more difficult for upcoming class. So let's go to here. So we did inbuilt. I'm moving very slowly. So you can say it's pretty much a 2 hours class. So we just did 2 practice because I'm trying to not to make it rush so that everybody understand it. But you have to do it practice. There will be no alternate without you practicing at home. Trust me, and you will feel more complex when we'll move to the framework. That time I'm not going to explain like all different how to create the XPath, how to create the CSS selector using different locator. I will just very quickly, because I will assume that you know it. That time our focus will be learn different type of framework stuff, the technology related with the framework, like data driven framework, keyword driven framework, all different type of, and the technology is related with this different plugin, test engine, different annotation, reporting, all those things. So but for building a framework, we have to do some practice. So we'll do some of the common scenario that we have learning. So but that time I'm not going to explain it. So please, for now, this is your time to understand line by line how to define the locator. So as I was saying, like at that time, I'm not going to able to, because then we'll never able to finish our class. So that's why every sector we're building our confidence, learning the stuff step by step, and we're taking a separate class for this. I think this is the difference. The other institution, they teach this the automation within a month and a half. You will see they within a month they finish this whole automation, because when
that will not work for sure.
because I know this. Even I took a class in different institution. I know this their time frame and their syllabus, all those things. How they teach it. I didn't like it, because it's most of the times you are just pushing whether they learn it or not.
Either you already have lots of background in programming, recent experience, not like for example, I have programming experience long time ago. I understand all these Java topics
right.
Here clearly, but
exactly
right now it is totally empty in my mind. So in that case, maybe you will be able to follow quickly. I found Python is much easier, but if you want to understand programming and object-oriented concept, what is happening behind, Java is a good one.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody in the testing job is built as such a reputation. It's changing now day by day. That's like anybody can switch. Yes, it's possible. It's doable. But nowadays it's the testing behavior, the market, it's a little bit changed, right? So you have to learn some sort of automation, and when it's automation, it's not using it. The tools, just you subscribe and you set up it. You're good to go. It is mostly like API, like whether you use Selenium, you use a Cypress or Protector, all is API. So you have to know how to build the frameworks from the scratch using your language, logic, all those things are also inbuilt Selenium or Cypress command, right? So it needs so the person who comes from different background, it's a little bit tricky and difficult. So if you teach your framework, like if I would start with the framework, I could do the same practice with the framework. Okay, let's start with the frameworks. We're going to use say data-driven framework using page object model. So it would be too much stuff to hold someone who comes from different background. So that's what I feel like. Don't worry. I mean, let's put the time, but get the maximum output. And I feel like this is the better way to learn step by step. Then you add your previous your part on the top of the new stuff. It will be easy to digest, it will be easy to learn. So I'm hoping that you put some effort to it. If you don't put the effort, it will be more difficult, because as I said, the next time when we'll move on framework, I will not explain this line by line, this how to find the XPath. I would assume that you already know it, right? And that time I'll put more focus on different technology that we're going to learn. So please spend a little bit time, especially the gap between a week, right? So at least do the practice that we finish the class. Go with at least with the class. If you can't go in advance, I don't expect that you will be in advance, but at least go with the class. And at the big, ask me the question if you have any problem, the question related to our last class, so that you are all clear. We're all in the same boat, right? So do this to practice, and if possible, try to watch this number 2 Selenium practice, not the 2, the locator. So we have learned the locator.
Sorry, I would like to interrupt you about one thing. Like, for example, the Java tutorials that you did and that you have on your website, are they sorted according to the requirement of Java, or they are not sorted?
No, it's all sorted according to Java. I mean, that's the way you are going to learn.
I mean, like for Selenium, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
On your website, the Java list that you made on YouTube.
Yes, it is all
one after one. It is coming according to the requirement of this, not in a, like, for example.
Yeah, I understand. That's what you're saying.
Later, something you covered.
No.
Before.
I try to apply my best knowledge, and the way I have learned. It's not necessarily you have to learn the same way, but say, when you're, especially the computer background, if you have a programming background, you all know this, like, everything started first, you started from some of the story of the background, which is not necessary, but you start from the scratch with the variable. That's what we followed. If we see this, how we started from the scratch, which is a variable. What is variable? How to declare variable? What's variable happen when you assign any value? And then you move on different operator, like different sign you use, right? Then you move on the data type, like the different type of data type you assign when you any value to a variable. Those are the sequence, and then you move on, like your some of the the logical part, conditional part, if else, some loops. Those are that, and then you move specifically, which is the advanced part, like the Java OOPS concept. And then finally, if you want to know more, which is the Java collection part, that part we didn't cover, because that's a little we use, but it will take a long time. Will take another extra 3 classes to cover the Java collection. So that's the sequence. Similarly, any language you go, this is pretty much the pattern that you start from the scratch. That's which is start from the variable, data type, how to assign any value to variable, then different type of operand and operator, and then you go for the logical steps, the conditional steps, right? The different array, and then loops. Then you move to the advanced part. So that is pretty much the pattern we have learned, and that's the same sequence. I'm pretty sure that I have all the video related Java in our channel.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so pretty much, so please, with these 2 exercises we have did today, if it's possible, I would, this is just another, you can say locator. So the first locator part 1 we have seen, and we started already use all different 8 types of locator, right? We have a separate class we did for the locator, which is related to the different locators in Selenium 1, which is the part 1. The advanced, you can see there's a locator part 2. I make a separate video related to locator part 2, which is the advanced locator technique to find like we already started to use the advanced part, which is like traverse, following XPath traverse from parents to child. We have, we already did today, like XPath for the parent, then /, then the tag name of the child, and then if you have a similar child, that sibling, you can use the position of that. So this is one of the advanced part. There's a few more different techniques. So you can use Css Selector. You can use Css Selector traverse, from your parents to child. So there's a So those few advanced technique, I explain on this advanced locator technique in Selenium part 2. So please, it's a 26 minutes. It's not a huge video. That is some of the, in this video, some of the technique, to explain some of the technique with the example. I refer to another video. If it's possible, you watch. If it's not, you skip that part. We'll learn that technique by doing that actual example. You'll see there is a link related, using a tag A. We use another separate, I give a reference for another video to watch. So if you get a time, that's optional. If you don't, but we'll do this. But whatever is explained over here in details, the different technique, please try to watch it. Just watch it. I'm not expecting that you will learn all those things, because anyways we'll do it, but it will help you when we're going to cover that part and do some related exercise. Will help you to understand right away. Okay, so that's your homework. Please watch this one and then do the practice, the two we have done today. Let me know. I'll try to upload the video by end of today.
Which two practice you want us to?
The practice one, the locator part 2. This is the one. Watch this one. This is the one. Watch.
Okay.
And the one is related with the invalid username and password. So invalid username, type invalid username, password. Like this is the Selenium practice 2. So this tutorial is based on our application CodeNbox, but today we did the practice based on Salesforce.
Right.
Okay, so related to the Salesforce, I will upload in the same channel, the same over here. I will upload over here, or maybe a live. We have a live class. I will upload up there. I will put all the link on Slack. So later today, check on the night today. That's in our Slack channel. So which one you need to watch, and which one you need to do the practice. So the practice one would be again related with invalid username password for a login test, as well as the alert pop-up window, JavaScript alert pop-up, which is related with practice 4. You can say how to handle JavaScript alert in Selenium.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Yeah.
So pretty much that's all for today, guys. Any question before we close our class today? If it's not,
Thanks.
I will see
Please
you in
wrap
yeah, I'll see you on the next weekend. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.